Welcome to Fit. My name is Shivoham and this is Akash, and we're going to basically take you through a few fundamental movements. Today we're going to start off with the squat. A lot of people have a lot of doubts about how a squat is supposed to be done, what is the right technique. Well, if you go to see, there is no such one-way technique. Everyone has their own way of squatting. What I am going to do is take you through the very basic fundamentals of a squat. And then basically everyone's body is different. So you need to see what stance works for you, what movement works for you, and take it from there on. A squat is a simple movement in which you basically use your hips and you use your knees. It is a movement in which you sit down on a chair and you stand up. I'm going to show you 3 repetitions from the front, 3 repetitions from the side, and then we will talk about the toes, the feet position, the knee position, the hips, the core, the chest, and the back. Alright, so now that you've seen the 3 repetitions of a squat, we're going to start from the fundamentals, right from the feet position, to knees, to hips, to chest, to shoulders, to the neck. Before we start, we're going to talk about the starting position of a squat and what is the right way to initiate the squat. When you're standing in a squat position, of course make sure that your glutes are nice and squeezed, your hips are ready to go, your knees are nice and soft. You don't need to keep them completely knocked out, but just regularly normal. Feet are in the right position, head is looking straight, core is tight. Now if you look from the side, this is how we usually initiate a squat. Your hips are a bigger muscle, your bigger joint, your glutes are a bigger muscle. So we always initiate the squat by loading the hips first and then the knees. This is how we do it. So if you keep your hands up at a 75-degree angle, you will push the hips out slightly, so you're kind of leaning forward, okay? Leaning forward, hold that position there, that's enough. And then from there, that's when you load the knees and you squat down. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, hold, and up. Great. One error that usually what we see people do is they push their chest out. Okay, a lot of the coaches around the gyms, they basically tell their athletes, push your chest out, push your chest out. When you end up doing that, you end up arching your back. What that basically does is then puts all the load on your lower back. This is what we don't want to do. What you want to think of is, think of your body as a piece of wood, a piece of bark, and it cannot bend either from the front or from the side. So when you've got this position, now when you lean forward, almost like a good morning exercise, that's your position. The back is nice and soft, but it's still active, your core is tight and your chest is regular. From there, you take a squat down and come back up. Good. Normally when we do a squat, we tell people to stand with their feet shoulder width apart. Now again, everyone's body is very different. What is a comfortable position for me not necessarily will be a comfortable position for you, but these are the basics, alright? When you're standing, the distance between your feet is known as your base position, alright, your base area. Your center of mass, which is in your belly button, as long as that stays over your base area, you're always going to be in a nice stable position. I'm going to show you how. So if you turn from the side, and if you squat, so as long as your center of mass is right over your base area, you will be in a nice stable position. The minute the center of mass moves forward, you lose balance, you fall forward. The minute the center of mass goes too far back behind, you lose balance again and you get unstable. So the whole idea is to make sure that the center of mass stays over your base area for you to have a nice stable squat. Secondly, if you see the feet position, they're not pointed straight ahead, they're pointed slightly to the side. Again, everyone has a different position when they are standing. Some people are born with their feet faced outwards, some are born with their feet placed inwards. First you need to identify whether that is actually a mobility issue or that is a structural issue. If it's a mobility issue, we can take you through a few different mobilization techniques to get that fixed. If it's a structural issue, it's best that you stay with the way your body is made and you squat that way. One small thing I want to discuss is also, which is a very important point, is the breathing of the movement or during the movement. When you're doing any kind of a strength workout, okay, what you usually do is you breathe out forcefully through your mouth to squeeze your diaphragm, which is your natural weight belt. Alright, if your core is tight and your diaphragm is squeezed nice and tight, for your initial weights where you're not going above or too heavy, you won't even need a weight belt. So the way we do that is we breathe out through the mouth and you squeeze your diaphragm. Keeping your diaphragm squeezed, you can still do a regular breath and you can talk. Now when you initiate the squat, once again keeping the diaphragm squeezed, you take a short breath in through your mouth. You squat down. Keep going. Come up and breathe out. When we squat, one of the basic myths is that your knees are not allowed to pass over your toes, which is not completely right. When you're squatting, as long as you squat load the hips first, and then you bend your knees, if you have flexible ankles, your knees are going to move forward. As long as they follow the straight path of your toe, that's all that we want. Remember, your joint is a straight joint. As long as it moves absolutely straight, you will never have a knee issue. You'll never have a patella issue. This issue starts coming in when the knees start going inwards, and then you're squatting, because now everything is misaligned, or if the knees are going too far out. Again, it's a misalignment. So you need to make sure that the knees are in perfect alignment with each other and with your toe. Next thing is working on the depth of the squat. So when the depth of a squat, what we usually say is that it should be at parallel or 90 degrees. But if you want to go below parallel, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So if you've got flexible hips, if you've got mobile hips and your mobility is good throughout your back and your hips, you can go down. Now in this position, we want to make sure that your back does not round. If you're trying to go below 90 degrees and your back starts rounding, that's when we stop you. So again, come back up. And one more time, go back down with a nice straight back. And stop there. This is basically what we want. So you want to see that the hip crease goes slightly below the knees, and that is considered as a good squat, a good depth for a squat. Stand back up. Next thing we're going to speak about is the chest and the core position. A lot of people have an issue where they feel when they're squatting, they aim to lean forward. So for this, what we teach them is start with your hands at a 45 or slightly higher, around 75 degree angle. This makes sure that the chest stays up and your back stays straight.
Hands on the front.
Alright, now when you squat, again, load the hips first, making sure that your back stays straight and does not arch, keeping your core tight, load the hips, and now you squat down, keep going, keep going, keep going. This makes sure you have a nice straight back. Your head, bring the hands down, and straight, head stays pointing straight ahead. What you need to see is that your spine starts from the neck all the way down. So it's not just that this part of the spine that we're worried about, we also take into consideration the spine that starts in the neck. So for this, what you don't want to do is you don't want to overlook or you don't want to look down. You want to keep it nice and straight throughout the position. And come back up and relax. Alright, so now that you've seen the technique, I just want to say a few things. Have you ever seen a child squat? A 2-year-old or 3-year-old child squat? And he's never been to a gym before, or no one has ever taught him how to squat. But there are a few things which are ingrained in the human body which absolutely start from birth. So if next time you want to see a good squat, watch your son, watch your daughter, watch any kid squat, and you will know what is the right technique. No one needs to teach them how the feet need to go out, where the knees need to go, the back is absolutely straight, and that is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So nature has a way of teaching you. Your body is your best judge. Your body is your best coach. All you need to do is be more aware of your body. You need to be more aware of your knees. You need to be more aware of your hips, your core, your head. A good technique that you can do is, of course, without weights, is close your eyes and try to squat. When you close your eyes, your attention is completely drawn towards your body and the way your body is moving, rather than things that are going around the body or you looking at yourself in the mirror. Try it. One last thing I would like to speak about is basic progressions for squat. Squatting is for everybody, no matter if they're 2 years old or they're my grandmother or they're suffering from a knee issue. Of course, when you have a knee injury, you take some time off, let the knee heal, and after that, even in your rehab, you can start with basic squats where you can place a bench or a chair or a stool behind you, not to a full depth, but somewhere halfway, say around halfway down your hamstrings. Just squat till there with good form, keeping your back straight, come back up. As and when your knee and the muscles surrounding your knee keep getting stronger, you can reduce the distance, reduce the height of the stool and squat lower each time. Eventually you will come to a point where you won't need that stool anymore and you will be doing a regular squat which you did before there was a knee issue or before before you ever did a squat with complete depth. So, thank you for listening. Thank you, Akash. If you have any more questions regarding the squat, please let us know on shivfit111@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at ShivMohamOfficial, and stay fit, stay healthy, and keep squatting. Thank you.